Hi everybody, welcome back on the channel. As always, I want to start with a huge thank you for every single comment, every single subscription. I appreciate it. It really keeps me motivating doing what I'm doing. Today's video is titled The Paradox of Missing Your Avoidant Ex. There is a real paradox there because if you dated an avoidant, you know that the relationship caused you a lot of anxiety. The relationship had you walking on eggshells, just a lot of confusion and stress. So why could anybody miss that or be trying to get their ex back? I think it's extremely important to understand that, as I mentioned in previous videos, this is really about attachment trauma. The reality is it's not a paradox, it's an illusion. You don't miss your ex, you don't miss the avoidant, you miss the dynamic you had with them because it's a familiar dynamic. What am I talking about? When people talk about complex trauma, attachment trauma, it's something that we learn at a very young age. Typically, with our parents growing up, we learn how to love. We learn the meaning of love. If you have parents who neglected you, abandoned you, mistreated you in any way, shape, or form as a child, you end up thinking that that's what love looks like. If someone loves you, there's always going to be this push-pull dynamic. Okay, basically, you learn that love is avoidance. Okay, that is very very common, very typical with complex trauma. So then you start dating, right? And one day you fall in love with this person who is going to absolutely 100% trigger that attachment wound that maybe was dormant, right? Maybe you integrated your wound and for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you never realized that you always dated the same person. The face changed, the name changed, the body changed, but at the end of the day, it was always the same person when it comes to attachment style. It was always someone who would push you away, right? And then give you the breadcrumbs, and you would assume that it's normal because that's what you learned growing up. That's your trauma speaking, basically. So, if you want to put it this way, the avoidant is the flame, the anxiously attached is the moth. On this channel, we don't focus on the flame because we know exactly what the flame does. The flame burns. So we focus on us, the moth, right? We want to understand that really the reason we accepted being in that kind of relationship in the first place is because our attachment trauma got activated. Okay, it's really that cycle, if you will, that very toxic cycle of you start dating someone, they start acting in a certain way, and you just go like, okay, but this is normal or kind of normal, right? You normalize something that another person, like a securely attached person, would simply not accept, right? If your partner disappears, if you just go like, what's going on? They're just like radio silent. I don't understand. It causes a lot of anxiety, and this anxiety is basically going to get you to feel extremely anxious and extremely nervous. Okay, and then they're going to come back, right? They're going to come back, they're going to give you this attention, this affection, the sex, whatever the case may be, and then you're going to have a high again, right? And then they're going to disappear again, and it's going to be this roller coaster of never ending ups and downs to the point where you are, for all intents and purposes, hooked. Okay, you are addicted to that. You are addicted to the cycle of ups and downs, and then the relationship ends and just like any other addict, you go through withdrawals. Okay, and you start believing that your solution, okay, the solution to your problem is to get them back. The same way a drug addict would say, the solution to how I'm feeling right now, my withdrawal, is to take drugs, right? If I take drugs, I'm going to feel better, and this thing that I'm feeling right now is going to go away. But it's an illusion, and we all know that when it comes to regular addictions, alcohol and drugs. But we yet have to understand that there is such a thing as love addiction, which is, when we talk about anxiously attached, love addiction, and complex trauma, it's really the same thing in a way. The root cause is always the same. It's always your childhood, it's always the dynamic you had with your parents, it's always the same, it's always that. And so basically, that's exactly why I recommend people not, absolutely not, trying to get their ex back, trying to, or spending hours online trying to understand why the avoidant does this and does that, because that's not what your focus should be. Your focus should be on yourself, okay, your attachment trauma, and work on it and heal and learn, because if you don't, you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes. Okay, you are going to make exactly the same mistakes, because normal, healthy love is going to seem weird to you, bizarre. If you ever find someone who is actually securely attached, you're going to find them needy, you're going to find them just like awkward, because you're used to something else. Okay, your entire life you thought that it's normal to be rejected by people you love. You see what I'm saying? So very important, work on yourself. Understand that whenever you're thinking about your ex, it is your attachment wound being activated, and it has nothing to do with your ex. And no, you don't want them back, and no, them coming back and actually starting this cycle once again is not going to help you. Folks, as always, thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care of yourself. I'll be posting this kind of video with no edits, with all the mistakes I make. That's perfectly fine. You probably guessed it by now. English is not my first language, so I apologize. Take care. You got this. Don't fall for the scammy content here on YouTube or anywhere else. Love you guys. See you next time.